I'm 40, I'm 50, oh my gosh, I'm 60. It's the time to start winding down. Why? Why is it a time to start winding down?
Why do you think some women get stuck and not being able to pivot?
I think it's fear of the unknown. Hello and welcome to Own the Room with Pam and Gayle. This is a place where we sit down with women who lead with vision, heart, and unstoppable energy. Today is going to be a little bit different today. I'm excited about this. The thing about in real estate, schedules change, people get sick, they cancel, and then we've got a podcast planned, and we decided that today we're going to do something with a lot of meaning. We are going to interview each other. So I'm pretty excited about my guest today, which is Gayle Phillips, and she's going to come right back and say,
and my guest, Pamela Santy, as well as my business partner and best friend.
Absolutely. Our episode is going to be about how we got here, what we've done to get here. We know it won't get us to the next phase, and what a great time that we're having in doing Own the Room and building this great team together. So, Gayle?
I'm going to ask you, Pam,
Fire away.
Why was creating Own the Room important to you at this stage in your life?
Well, I think one of the most important thing, and this will really kind of take us back, was choosing a name for what we wanted to do. And we came up with a lot of names, and Own the Room really resonated with me and the name itself, because I remembered as a younger woman going into rooms and just feeling like I didn't belong there, that I wasn't worthy of the space that I was in. And that how, as I've gotten older, and why it's important to me now is because of the confidence that I've built over the years and being able to not only own the room, but be comfortable doing it. So I'm happy to report that I am 75 years old. I never saw myself doing anything like this, but there was a time in my life where I didn't want anybody to even know how old I was. So being 75 years old, running a big team, doing a podcast, who would ever thought this would have happened?
Yeah, not at our stage in life. We've
Absolutely
always thought
not.
we would take the traditional road of slowing down. I know your husband, Paul, has retired.
Right.
And that it sort of was thought that you would retire because that's what you're supposed to do.
That's what you're supposed to do, but who does what we're supposed to do?
And so
right?
why did you do that? Why did you not do what you originally thought of retiring? What is it in this that makes you go on?
Well, of course, there's a long story behind, and you and I have been part of that. It's our journey that I think having someone to take this journey with has been such a big part of the equation. Yeah, you're right. This could get emotional. When you and I got together, you and I know the real story as to how we got together. How we got together to do what it is that we're doing today. And there was a lot of heartbreak and a lot of resolve, I'm reading the wall, embrace, resolve, evolve, as we started this journey together. And, I got excited. I got caught up in it. I got caught up in my friendship with you. I got caught up with the thought that two women late in life could potentially do what we're doing today, but never guessing that it would take on the scale that it's taken on. I mean, we've got 70 agents today. Who would have thought we're doing millions of dollars in volume? Who would have thought that would have happened?
That would be number 26 in the state of California amongst all teams for a 5-year-old team.
Yeah.
The team has, and us together, have really stepped out there and been worked hard for this success. And then following the journey, following the roads that open up to us, and then being willing to step into them has just been an experience of a lifetime. So
It
I'm so
absolutely.
blessed that we decided to take this journey, take that leap, keep that little voice of you're too old, or you have other things you're supposed to be doing, or you're supposed to be taking care of your grandkids, or other kinds of things. And we're really leaning into seeing where this adventure, this evolution of who we are as
Right.
humans, as women, is going to take us. And I still don't think we don't know where that ends yet.
No, we don't. We really don't. And also it's and I'm going to fire this back at you, Gal, but it also is the ability to role model for younger women who are out there going, I'm 40, I'm 50, oh my gosh, I'm 60, like our last guest, I'm now is the time to start winding down. Why? Why is it a time to start winding down? I mean, if that's what you want to do, if that's the stage you're at in your life, great. But if you still feel like you've got stuff left on the table that you want to do, why be afraid to do that? Now, you were getting ready to maybe move to Spain. You got your
Travel agent.
travel agent license. You love to travel. You were winding down. What happened for you?
And I thought a lot about this over the years, that I've had I've been very blessed with a real estate career
Yes, you have.
that I never dreamed I would have. But at some point, I stopped growing as a human. And it was the need to continue to evolve, to grow, to have new experiences. So opening one more door, doing one more comparable analysis, which is all great stuff to do. But I wanted to be challenged by something. So that brought us in, and then COVID happened. So it shut the door of me moving to Spain or traveling.
Right. Well,
And
it changed all of our lives. Didn't it?
COVID gave us a new energy, a new reintroduction into the real estate business in a different way. We now have the opportunity to grow a team because of the business model changing. We're talking about having online leads coming to us that
Right.
we then could deliver and grow a team with. And so we've had to learn leadership skills. That just because you're a realtor, just because you're a top producer, you don't necessarily have leadership
No,
skills.
you do not.
So, and then also the mindset of a realtor is very different than a business owner. And so having to learn these new skill sets, being challenged with leadership and owning a business, and then yet having that debate of, from a realtor's point of view, or the agent's point of view, back to the ownership group, we've had to grow and evolve. And that's been really exciting.
It has been. It really has been. And, if you look at where we're at today, which I mean, looking at it from up here and going, oh my gosh, look at what we've built over the last 5 years. Look at the people's lives we've had a major impact on. But I want to drill it down a little bit, because probably the people that have had the biggest impact has been us, I mean, because we were going along and had a great business going, a great real estate business, but I was struggling. I was going home every night. I was having a glass of wine that turned into 2 glasses of wine and then a bottle of wine. And I know there is a bajillion people. Well, I'd like to think there's a bajillion people watching our podcast, but there's so many people that'll see this episode and go, I relate to that. Going home every night, having wine, getting up in the morning, not feeling good, but but continuing to show up, but at what level, and really recognizing that I couldn't go on any longer feeling that way. And in the middle of the night, waking up and getting that, what do they call it, wine o'clock, right? And just being alone with just my thoughts and not feeling good about myself, and then resolving to make changes in my life to go a different direction. That was huge for me, and you were part of that.
And as well as my struggles, that once we chose a healthier lifestyle,
Yes.
then we became physically able to be disciplined, because it's hard for me to be disciplined to get up at a certain time and to prepare and to be clear-headed. So that the change of the healthy lifestyle then gave me a lot of energy, which
Yes.
created confidence, which created us doing some things that allowed us to expand our business, grow our business, be willing to take on challenges we might not have been willing to take on. So it has that making healthy lifestyle choices has been so significant and instrumental for this point in our life.
Yes.
Right.
It has.
You made a comment about the impact that we've had on others. I'm thinking about the agents that we've worked with over the 5 years, 6 years now that we've been together working with other agents on our team, is the impact they've had on us.
Yeah, that's so true.
The challenges, those hard conversations, the challenges of maintaining a certain culture in an office for the team so that it can thrive and grow. We've had to make some hard choices. We've had to make some hard decisions, not very many of them.
Mm-hmm.
But in some cases, we had to let a person go because their lifestyle choices weren't healthy for our team. We've had to struggle through agents that were needing to be in someplace else. They weren't happy here, and they had to make some choices. So having to learn how to separate from others that the fit wasn't right there.
Right.
Well, those were some hard times. We've spent a lot of time with those conversations, creating boundaries for ourselves, challenging ourselves to have some of those hard conversations. What have you done, or what tools, tricks do you use when you have to have that hard conversation with someone that maybe we're having to pivot or make an adjustment with?
One of the things that you have really helped teach me is staying in curiosity and taking a step back and coming from a place of truly trying to be helpful, to where I'm not tearing somebody down, I'm actually building them up. And so, because just like most people, I think we have a tendency to be somewhat judgmental. And one of the things you've really helped me with is, like I said, staying in curiosity and trying to see things better from their point of view instead of my point of view, being nurturing to those people. There hasn't been a lot of people that we've had to have too many hard conversations with, but when we do, I think, so the more I think about the question, one of the things that I've come to realize is that by not being honest with people from my gut, and you can always be kind at the same time you're being, I'm doing a disservice to that person. If I continuously accept an agent's excuses as to why they're not doing this, why they're not showing up, why they're not moving forward, then I'm not helping them. I need to be honest with them. So it's really just looking at where that conversation is coming from and being as truthful as possible.
Exactly. That's such a good point that you make. And learning to use we've had to learn skill sets we didn't have before.
No, absolutely not.
Leadership isn't just coming into an environment and telling everybody where to go.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes you have to step backwards to lead forwards. And so it's taking that moment, that pause, checking in with that agent, figuring out where they're wanting to go and then how to support them. Maybe taking certain leads isn't their strong suit.
Yeah.
Maybe they prefer to do something else. And so helping them learn how to pivot has been really important. One of the things you've taught me is that I can be so nurturing, because that's what I lean to. I can be so nurturing that I could love someone out of the business.
Right.
Without
that is
being
so true.
Without being honest with them. I keep saying they're doing great, you're going to get better at it next time, whatever, without learning what the fundamental issue is, because I don't want to face that hard conversation. I'm going to love that client or that agent, so that they can't grow personally, that they can't get better at what they're trying to accomplish out of the business. And that isn't really loving them nor leading. So
it's certainly not leading them.
So I've had to learn to readjust and be able to have those hard conversations. And I give you all the credit in the world for that, of helping me learn that.
So one of the things that we knew, it was interesting, and of course we're sitting here today doing a podcast, but one of the things that a couple of years ago that we started realizing was what a big presence social media had in the real estate industry. And I certainly didn't take the lead on this. You took the lead on that. Why did you think that social media was so important for the growth of our team?
When you look at what top producers are doing outside of our market, and that's what I'm always doing, is I'm always looking on what's going on in the horizon. And that social media teaches me, agents, things about themselves, communication skills, for example, the ability to explain why someone should buy a property or buy a different property. Or so when we did social media, started that from a learning place where we could use it to educate others. And so one-to-many is a lot easier than one-to-one.
Right.
So we were able to touch more lives, touch our agents' lives, and that the eyeballs, to be perfectly honest, of the consumer is online. They start usually with an online search, maybe a Zillow. They're also, if they're already online looking at houses on Zillow, they probably have some sort of social media avenue, which might be Facebook or Instagram, could be TikTok, could be YouTube. YouTube now is one of the biggest providers of content in the world. So we saw it that marketing and branding was so important, and that we needed to help our agents brand. We needed to brand quickly our own team. So being able to improve our communication skills, be comfortable in front of the camera, which is always challenging, and then also to be able to expand our brand. Social media is a very cost-efficient way to do that.
Oh, it really is. Oh, it absolutely is. And you've done such a great job with that. And you have really embraced social media and have grown that part of our team. Growth is so uncomfortable sometimes, isn't it? I mean, when I look at over the last 5 years, how you, again, I go back to you and I know our story, but for those people who don't, we were at a small boutique agency and I was super comfortable there. And let me just say, beware of when you feel too comfortable, because as they say, hindsight is 20/20, right? And if it had not been for you, I would probably still be there. And because I was so comfortable. I love my office. I may not have loved everything that was going on, but I was very comfortable. And then the things out of my control started happening that made me very uncomfortable. And when I look back on that, Gayle, that was some of the greatest times of my life, because out of that horrific time for both of us, some real pain, we cried, we were so uncomfortable, but the growth that came out of that. And so I just want to say that if anybody listening to this is going through a time where they're just really uncertain and uncomfortable and having to make changes, embrace those, because it could be the greatest thing in the world that is happening to you, as it was for us. We literally, I have this mental image, and it's not true. It's not true. But I have this mental image of us standing out on the sidewalk with our briefcases in our hands, not knowing where we were going.
That part was true. Yeah, that part was true.
That part is so true. But
And I don't mind sharing this. So what happened for the audience, to keep them involved in the story, is that, as you can kind of tell, I'm always the poker at growth. I want to grow. I want to do things that are different. I want to expand my horizons, our horizons. And so the place that we were, the brokerage we were, was a traditional brokerage, and the model just didn't fit me.
Nope.
Unfortunately, I didn't fit in there. But you and I became business partners, and as we became business partners, our business joined, and we became one.
Yep.
So just sort of
did.
like a marriage.
Yeah.
So now it is not just you, it is not just me, it is we.
Right.
And we had to make decisions together, and some of them were very painful.
Very
because you
painful.
had to shut the door on something that you enjoyed and that you liked and that you felt safe in. Mm-hmm. And then go into a season, into a time where, like you said, the unknown, which is scarier.
Oh, and it was very unknown for both of us. It was very unknown.
It was. And what would our colleagues think? You had a thriving career. You had no reason to make any changes, but the circumstances happened, and this new company, Real Broker, ends up coming into town at the perfect moment.
Absolutely.
And we explored the opportunity, what a traditional brokerage couldn't do, with a cloud-based model, with Real Broker, where we could run our business the way we wanted to run it, as long as it was legal and the broker agreed with our decisions in terms of contracts, etc., our real estate decisions. But we could do marketing. We could grow a team. It didn't matter how big the team got. We could it had a very good financial opportunity with a low cap, with stock opportunity, with revenue share, that we knew that our agents could take advantage of.
Right.
And we came from a place of service.
Yeah, we really did. We were thinking outside of what's good, just good for Pam and Gayle, what would be good for a team, which is why we chose Real Broker.
And today, 70 agents later, we have very little turnover.
Yeah.
So our decision had to be a good decision.
It was.
Where
it
we
was,
are.
It was a very good decision, but we can look back now and say that was a great decision. But for our listeners, it doesn't always feel good. It doesn't feel good when you're going through changes. It can be scary. You feel so vulnerable. It's like the future to me was just like a gray wall of fog. I didn't know where I was going or what I was doing, but I knew we had to change. I knew we had to do something different.
And so now we decide we're going to start this team concept. We didn't know how to build a team. I mean, read some books, seen some teams, but we really didn't know how to build one. So we quickly, though, had the opportunity. You were great at finding a couple of new agents, and I found a couple of agents.
Yep.
And we started servicing our clients and leading forward. And then we got this incredible first hire, which was our operations director, who now is Haley Herzog, who's been with us for 4 years as our operations director. And she is amazing. And so between the three of us, we were the early leadership group.
Yes.
And then we've added somebody else and another couple of positions so that we can continue to grow. Because now we're at a place where we need to make some decisions. We stay where we are at about 70 agents, do what we do well, earn decent income, enjoy having fun with own the room, and grow that part of the business to where we're not quite sure.
It's interesting, Gayle, because in a way, I kind of feel like we're at that crossroads again. Are you feeling that?
We are.
That we've got to this point, and it's all like we got verified by Real Trends. We're number one in Fresno. And by the way, the only woman-led team in Fresno County, number one in Fresno, team size, team volume, team units, everything, number 26 in California. What'd you say, 133?
33 national.
133 nationally. I'm so proud of that. I am so proud of that. But I feel like we're on the precipice of growing
next?
again.
What's next?
What is next? I feel like we're getting ready to go through another change.
And what's interesting as we're looking at that is what is keeping us from growing. And it's really capacity. So we have to expand our leadership group
Right.
so that we have more space for us to be able to grow the company, engage more agents, move into new markets, grow our market share, which also helps us grow. Maybe go to the Central Coast as we had originally planned. So now we're at a place where we get to grow again and exert new skills that we've acquired. And one of the things I've just been looking at recently is something that I think we're exploring now is we've talked about agents that are starting to age out of the business. They're
Right.
retiring out of that business. Many of them are our peers. But they have very successful real estate businesses. So how do they still continue to earn some revenue when they're retired as opposed to just working like dogs for the rest of their lives until they
Oh boy,
turn
here
over?
she goes again.
So now it's about working with, if you're an older agent, finding a younger agent that you can bring into your business, that they can learn the business and the clients become familiar with, and then there's a natural handoff in that kind of a model. Or in our case, we could acquire other businesses, other agents' books of business, and pay them a referral fee so that their clients continue being served at a high level. Plus, they're getting residual income from referral fees. So there's all kinds of ways to take, whether you're leaving the business and you want an exit plan, or you're coming into the business and you want a book of business. If we can help create some marriages, kind of be a little matchmaker, if you will, we can grow everybody's business. So there's so much opportunity as we look at where we're going next.
Okay, so yes, there are, and I swear for the last 5 years, Gal, it has been like, what is going to be happening next? So, and again, I want to say for our listeners, I mean, you guys might look at us and say, wow, they've been so successful, but the road getting here has been a challenge. We've had health problems. We've had,
I lost my daughter.
you lost your daughter, which was devastating. That just happened this year. I had cancer. The road has not been an easy one, but what I can say, if we were looking for what's that magic sauce, what's that secret sauce, it's just been in showing up. It's just been that continued showing up, getting up in the morning, putting your pretty on, and getting to work, and life happens. Life happens while you stand on by the side of the road, whether you want to jump in and join or not, life is going to continue to move forward.
What do you think? Why do you think some women get stuck and not being able to pivot or get out of stuck places? What's holding others back?
I think it's fear. I think it's fear of the unknown. I really do. I think life can be scary, and sometimes, again, we go back to, if you're feeling really comfortable, why do you want to change anything? There was a book that came out many years ago. A friend of mine gave it to me, and it was called "If It Ain't Broke,
Don't fix it.
If It Ain't Broke, Break It," was the name of the book. Yes.
Well, we're good at that.
Yeah, we're good at that. But a lot of people lean into, if it ain't broke, why fix it? Why change it? But that can get really boring too. It can really get boring. So, what keeps people stuck, I think, is the fear of unknown. That's what I really think it is. And saying, what's wrong with what I know right here? If I go further, then I might have to learn something. Then I might have to get uncomfortable. Then I might have to change something. And why do I want to do that?
Or the price is too high to pay.
The price is
Sometimes the price is too high to pay.
Well, as an answer to that, I would say, why not? Look at 70 and 75 years old, having the greatest time of my life. My husband, yesterday, when I was downstairs in my office doing my huddle, when I came up, and you weren't able to be in the whole time, but I ended with a video.
I saw the video.
Did you see the video? Okay. So it was very encouraging and got me all excited as well. But when I came upstairs, my husband looked at me and he said, "You just love what you do, don't you?" And I went, "I really do. I love being able to have an impact on all of these agents." I had one of our agents, Jenny, who reached out to me afterwards and wanting a copy of the video. And she said, "I needed to hear everything you had to say today." And that made me feel so good, because that's the legacy that I want to leave. I want people to say, "I knew her. She made a difference in my life. She impacted me."
That's one of the beautiful things about you and I working together, that as I've looked at other business owners, team leaders that are solo, that operate completely by themselves, you and I have had the chance to pull each other along.
Yes.
Sometimes you pull me, sometimes I pull you. We have this a common experience of watching agents grow, and then you and I will look at each other with that look.
I know.
That you know exactly what that is.
I sure do.
That watching them just blossom has just been an incredible.
It is like, speaking of the team, it's like watching kids take their first steps, watching your babies take their first steps. There's nothing more exciting than that, or ride their first bicycle. Well, we've been through all of that, but we're getting to experience that again with these young agents who come to us, and some just want to have a second career. Some actually need to earn money. They have to support their family. This is a big deal. And watching them get into their first transaction, watching them make their first $100,000 for the year, that I can't even explain how much that I know that means to both of us.
It really is an incredible. So what does success mean now versus 10 years ago?
10 years ago, success was all about me. Today, I find that same joy and satisfaction in watching other people be successful. And I'm not just saying that. My greatest joys is watching other people be successful, do things at a different level than they did them before. I'll give, for example, Seema. Seema, who you took under your wings and mentored her. And her life has been completely changed by her experience on our team. And I don't know that she could have got that anywhere else, because she needed a lot of mentoring, and she'd be the first one to admit that. And you were able to give her that. And just watching her become this more confident person with direction in her life. And then she had family issues where she had to become the main breadwinner. And being that's winning to me. That's winning.
That's success today.
That is success today.
And even if it's not, I watch you all the time, obviously. And even if it's just not one of our agents, watching you encourage others outside of the building here, outside of our world. I watch you do it all of the time, and that you're always encouraging other women to succeed. And
Now you're talking golf. I can tell.
I know, I think in general. So I've really seen that transition of where we were 10 years ago thinking about ourselves to now really supporting other people and getting great
What
joy
does it
from
look
that.
like for you? The same question. 10 years ago, what did it
did it
look
look
like
like?
versus today?
Escaping real estate 10 years ago to now being very much enveloped in real estate, but at a different level. I used to sell real estate, help buyers and sellers make decisions about their investments and about their personal choices, and help them achieve their dreams. Now I'm helping our agents achieve their dreams, and that changes what I am dreaming. I no longer am dreaming
does.
about that $5 million listing like
Yeah.
I used to. I am now dreaming about helping more people become successful and furthering their growth, which furthers our growth as a company.
Right.
So that what success looks like is different now.
It's yeah. All right. So let me ask you this question. I'm gonna go to a.
We have some rapid fire questions. that
Well,
might be
okay. Where are the rapid fire questions at?
fun. Okay, towards the end.
What? But let me.
Segment 4.
Let me. All right. Before I go to segment 4, let me grab this. This question right here. It says, "What challenge made you stronger?" Now we've had a lot of challenges.
We've lived a lot of life.
Well, yeah. I mean, we have. And there must be 100 examples of challenges that we've had, but what challenge sticks out the most?
My daughter passing away in January was the hardest challenge of my life. Any parent that has had to go through that understands. My daughter was in her early 40s. That was a challenge. But then on top of it, having life continue.
Yes.
And being able to
huge.
stay involved in life, feel the pain, but also I am a wife. I am my own self. I do have responsibilities to the company. I do have responsibilities as a mother of 3 other adult children and a grandmother on top of it. So being able to navigate the loss and keep gratitude and not drown in the loss was the hardest thing for me to manage. And it still pops itself up. You know, my son just recently got married, and Emily, not having my oldest daughter, second daughter there that passed away, not having her present there, but her being very present, and then navigating the joy of that beautiful moment. So that was a real personal struggle. That I still struggle with it. And I never know when it's going to show up.
Yeah.
I take a moment, I pause, I feel it, but I don't let it take me out to sea.
The most amazing part of that to me was we were in the middle. Emily passed away, I think, on January 1st. And January 22nd, we had this Own the Room that we were doing, this big conference, and it was almost sold out, which it did sell out. It was almost sold out at the time. And I remember looking at you and going, maybe we should put it off. And you said, no, we're going to go ahead. We're going to do this. And just your ability, I don't know how you did it, but just your ability to continue to show up amazed me.
I did it because I watched you fight cancer. I did it watching you sitting in a chair getting chemotherapy and still be on a Zoom with me and as a growth advisor. That's how I got through it.
That's pretty amazing. Oh, all right. Let's go to rapid fire. Oh gosh, that got real.
Okay,
But-
I can start.
All right.
Okay, so
Can I just say one more thing?
Of course.
That's real life. That's real life. It's not always easy. All right, rapid fire.
So, morning routine.
Morning routine. Okay. My morning routine is I get up every morning and I get my pretty on and I get to work. That's what I've been saying for years. I'll never forget someone asking me, and he's a big real estate agent today, but at the time he was just getting started in real estate. And he said, "How do you do it? How are you so successful?" And I was doing great. "How are you so successful at real estate?" And I said, the harder I work, the luckier I get. So my morning routine is I get up at the same time every single day.
I know.
I know, and it's early, but I go to bed early. So my morning routine actually starts at night when I get into bed. I get into bed usually around 9, and I'm up every morning between 5:30 and 6 o'clock. And I have my quiet time, and then I get ready and I go to work. What does yours look like?
Well, mine starts right when you start texting me.
Well, I can't help it.
As
I
it did
have
this
things to
morning.
share.
As it is this morning. And then I roll out of bed, I get my coffee, and I have some time with my husband, that's kind of our little bit of time, an hour or two, where we can communicate, share the day. And of course, I then get ready for work and come into the office and do whatever we need to do. So I always start with coffee first, and then on the way to the office.
So, Gal, what is one thing people misunderstand about you?
Oh man, that I don't have a sense of humor.
Oh,
There are some people that don't think I think anything is funny. I think lots of things are funny.
you do, and you have a great sense of humor. Can I say what I think would be something people misunderstand about you?
Please.
Is you ask a lot of questions, and you are a bit of a contrarian. You really are. But it's because you're so curious. And people think that, why is she asking so many questions? Why does she always take that? What is she, like a pot stirrer or something? But it's because you're so curious about things. That's what I would say is the one thing people misunderstand the most about you.
I think that's probably pretty true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am very curious. That is absolutely
Which keeps you
true.
learning.
Yeah, and that the traditional answer usually isn't enough for me, because there
Yes.
is more to an answer than what is obvious. The real answer typically is the information behind the answer. So
Which you poke at. You poke at until you get that.
you go.
And sometimes I have to tell you, it's a little
annoying.
irritating. Mm-hmm. It's annoying, yeah. Mm-hmm. But in the long run, when you look back, you walk away having this different perspective or different mindset about a subject you thought you already knew. So
try being my husband.
okay. One thing you stopped apologizing for.
Being curious.
Oh, I set you up for that. That's no fair.
What about you? What is one thing that people misunderstand about you?
That I'm really easygoing. Do they think that about me? That I'm really easygoing? I don't even know, because I'm really not. I'm not easygoing. My husband would tell you that. That I'm always looking for solutions to problems for other people to make it seem like I'm more easygoing, but there's a lot of angst behind that.
The one thing you do very well, because people think you are so easygoing, is that it's easy for people to talk to you.
Yeah.
So that is really one. I think that is one of your superpowers. I'll be with you, and I'm mesmerized by your interest in whatever it is that we're talking about with me at that moment. or how you'll take somebody aside that is having a conversation. You'll put your arm around them, and you'll really engage that person in some conversation. And I look at that and I think, oh my gosh, I wish I had that superpower, because that person feels so heard.
Oh, thank you.
So-
Appreciate that. That's a very nice compliment. Thank you. Favorite quote?
The power of one more.
Oh, yes. Ed Milat. Love that. Absolutely. I'm going to go back to my favorite quote being, the harder I work, the luckier I get. Or just keep showing up. So, Gail, this is a great question for you. I want to ask you before you ask me, because you'll have such a better answer. What do you want your legacy to be?
I probably like Frank Sinatra. She did it her way.
Oh, that's a great answer. Going back to a favorite quote, one of my favorite quotes is "Be where your feet are," and I think I got that from Sharon. But it's so important, and it's such a simple thing, and you almost press your toes into the ground when you say that. And Connor and I were just talking about how torn you can be, where you've got a family and you're on the road all the time, and you need to be here and you need to be there, and when you're here, you're preparing for being there, and really choosing wisely where I'm going to be at. I think that is very important. But when I'm there, truly embracing that moment and being where I'm at.
That's amazing. And maybe that's a good place to stop. Okay, so do we do our closing or? Okay.
Okay. We started Own the Room because we believe every woman has moments where she questions herself. That's so true. That is one of the reasons why we started Own the Room.
So it's not about being the loudest person, right?
It's not about being the most confident person.
It's about knowing your value, and that's what we try to do.
Yeah.
So if you know anyone that is needing to hear this episode about owning their own space, their own reality, their own authenticity, please ask them to subscribe, watch the video, and we'll see you next time.
You're not behind, you are becoming.
Love that.